What's up, everybody? What's up? LSU. If you saw the Twitter social media stranglehold, the mob coming for Matt House, if you didn't see it, well, it's there, of course. And it's louder than ever before. LSU fans have spoken. But it's obviously not going to mean much for how Brian Kelly's going to run his program, what the fans say, which is great. That we have a coach who doesn't give a shit what the fans say, because usually the fans are very wrong on these type of things. But looking at what Matt House has done this season with this defense, and I understand how good he was last year. Trust me, I was a big proponent of him being a Broyles Award finalist, being within that realm. But this year, you can't defend some of what has gone down defensively. I love so many of these so many of those defensive coaches as people, as coaches. Like last year, you saw the greatness of a lot of those guys. Their ability to adjust in the second half, in the second quarter, for the rest of the game. You saw that with the DBs. They'd allow a big catch, a big touchdown, something like that on the first drive, and then totally get their shit together, 180, boom. And everybody in the fan base believed that about this defensive staff, that's not the staff we needed to worry about, right? It was the offensive staff. It was questions about, is Mike Denbrock an SEC capable offensive coordinator? Those were the kind of questions that were being bandied about during the offseason. Is Mike Denbrock capable? And now to see this whole thing flip, where Matt House has his DBs 15 yards off the ball. His defensive linemen, I don't understand how this has happened. Defensive linemen feet away from the line of scrimmage, even a full yard, pre-snap, even post-snap, they can't get there in time. They're too far away. It's like you give somebody that much momentum with the football, it's just like you're standing in front of a freight train. It doesn't matter how good these guys are at tackling. It really doesn't. It is going to be an impossible thing to do when that's coming at you. I don't understand the whole. I just don't understand what's going on from a schematic form of just what we're looking at here. Why it's so bad. I don't understand the personnel choices from Matt House. I don't understand some of the stubborn. You've got to play Omar Speights no matter what. No matter what, you must play Omar Speights. Hell or high water, right? Because he's a veteran, because he settles things down. Watching that game last night, did you see anything settled? Was there anything settled about that defense? Yeah, I didn't think so. And they just ran right through the teeth. Right through the teeth of LSU's defense, and just did it with glee, with pomp and circumstance, and they buried us, everybody. They buried us. It's crazy. It's crazy to see an LSU defense be so bad that you had the winningest coach in FBS history, Brian Kelly, all divisions, has the most wins. Nick Saban, of course, the winningest in Division I history, of course. But this guy, he's seen and done it all. But you made him feel so such a lack of confidence in his defense that he went for it on fourth and whatever it was, whatever the down and distance, um, at that point in the game, at that part of the field, after your defense just had an opening drive stop, it's like, whoa, you really don't care about like sending that message to the defense of confidence. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure the defenders were probably not even seeing what was going on at that point. They're probably being drilled, adjusted on the sideline, right? Head in the game, trying to figure it out. Probably not. Probably not that either. I mean, it's very apocalypse now what we saw last night, because this was an LSU team, as we wrote last night. This is an LSU team that had everything in front of it. A quarterback like Jaden Daniels, you can win a championship. And how many times do you get to see a quarterback like Jaden Daniels wearing purple and gold? Not too many times. And here we were, second time in 4 years, treated to a Heisman worthy quarterback. An offense that was literally dueling statistically with the 2019 offense, dueling with that offense. But once, here's the thing: if you're not a complete team, when you actually play top competition, not Auburn, not Army, not, Mizzou, when you play top competition, a team that is at least somewhat complete in Alabama, and this is one of the worst Alabama teams we've seen in some time, um, they're still going to kick your ass. They're still going to just do enough to beat you. And this game really comes down to the batted pass by Dallas Turner that's picked off by Terrion Arnold, the interception that gave them the football, and then, of course, they automatic guaranteed points under this defense, under this defensive coordinator, automatic points. And I don't know. I don't know. The term soft comes to mind. Soft when I watch this defense play football. They're just along for the ride. Jaden Daniels will get the wins. We'll celebrate in the locker room. And I remember people getting mad at me after the Mizzou game because I kind of lost it in my post-game show and in the article about some players celebrating in the locker room, defensive players celebrating in the locker room after the Mizzou win. And I was like, the camera shows Jaden Daniels getting all taped up and his ribs worked on after getting the shit knocked out of him for that win. It's like, you guys had nothing to do with this win. Major Burns had a pick six at the end. Like, that's it. Nothing to do with this win. It's all about Jaden Daniels, and you're going to be celebrating? Like, wait until you beat this team, Alabama. Wait until you beat this team. Then maybe you can have some celebrating in the locker room. Like, hey, we had a big time win here. We've beaten Auburn. We've beaten the Army. We've got a shutout against Army. We're feeling great. We're going into, A&M, Florida, Georgia State. We're going to finish this thing strong. We're going to Atlanta. Like, that's what could have happened if this defense could have even just made a few stops. I'm not even asking about become the 2011 Tigers. Where's Tyrann Mathieu? Where's Eric Reed? Find Eric Reed on the recruiting trail. Find another Honey Badger. I'm not asking for that. I'm not talking about that. This lineup is good enough to have achieved a victory last night against that Alabama team. But the reason that we lost this game was because certain guys aren't on the field. Certain guys don't know how to coach. Certain guys have forgotten how to play. And it's all colliding right there in the biggest game of the year, right before our eyes. And, it's so easy. It's so easy against this offense It's so easy against against this defense. It's so easy. I mean, I'm just watching this again and again and again. Blocking tight end, a guy I had heard was only a blocking tight end, but literally was like, no, he makes huge catches in big parts of the game. Dupree, Alabama's tight end Dupree, kills LSU on a 3rd and 7, a big 3rd and 7 there. Ignored. You know, like it's just there's so many glaring. Okay, you got to watch this guy. He might just kind of go out there, do a little chip, and then kind of curl into that open space because of these other routes. Like, there's nothing. There's just a giant gap in that middle of the field. And I'm watching Omar Spates guarding no one right there. And Jalen Milroe missed that. Jalen Milroe threw it to the side, kind of forced that one. He had Omar Spates lost in space over on the left side of the field, and a dude was just wide open. Good God, that guy is so wide open. He's in like 20 yards of space. I don't know how Jalen Milroe missed that. That's because Alabama aren't that good. They let our defensive line harass them like this, you know. But our defense are so historically bad and put so much damn pressure on Jaden Daniels. Our special teams are so non-existent and so just lackadaisically stupid out there on the return game that, you know, mistakes were going to happen. There was going to come a game where the offense wasn't just going to be able to, you know, wake up and shit out a 50 point game, you know. Here's a 50-point game no matter what. Like, it's outrageous what is expected of this LSU offense to deliver to save this defense's ass game in, game out. And somehow Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., that offensive line who've been more than dominant to win enough games for LSU to at least just have one loss of this season. And now here we are, 3 losses, 3 defeats on the year. LSU had so much ahead, a Pandora's box to be opened of just goodness for the future of it, for a future of LSU football. A chance at a Heisman, a chance for Jaden Daniels to be that guy. You know, there's so much on the line here. And LSU let it get away. LSU let it get away. The moment was too big. What do you all think about this? I've gone on my soliloquy, and I'll continue, of course, because my God, why not? What else are we going to do here? As LSU fans, are we going to sit here and, you know, start just freaking out and shitting our pants? No, we're going to identify the issues and try and turn this team into something that can go to a New Year's Six game at least, because Jaden Daniels deserves better than this bullshit. Jaden Daniels deserves better than this crap. This is unfair to Jaden Daniels. What a season he has had. And he has been completely let out to dry by this defense. Definitely post your comments on YouTube. We'll try and see them on Twitter as well, or wherever you can. We're keeping our eyes on the comment section. But I mean, it's a hell of a game here because LSU's offense were actually dominant in this game. Just barely under 500. Jaden Daniels gets knocked out of the game with a concussion. Thank God it was not a broken jaw. But the concussion is still very, very worrying as well. Um, who they're going to closely protect that injury information. Like it's going to be a tough job to get anything out of that. Sweet, there's someone from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, reading my Jaden Daniels making his own history article right now. That's funny. That's funny. Um, Sorry, we got to share all these links. We haven't even done that. Like that's the thing. We always get going and forget to even share all these links, get people in here. You know, Whit Weeks being in this game, sure, sure. You could argue he's not going to change the outcome, but he at least gives LSU a fighting chance. All these runs up the middle, all this nonstop gashing by Jalen Milroe. You and I both know that Harold Perkins would be more at ease. Greg Penn would be more at ease if Whit Weeks had been out there. Anytime we have seen Omar Spades playing for LSU football, it hasn't been good. It hasn't been good. Like, he's been terrible. I don't understand the hesitancy to play Whit Weeks. I don't get it. Why? You don't want him to have the too fast, too soon lifestyle of college football. It's too much too soon for you, bro. You gotta wait your turn. This guy's about to go play 70 snaps and be the worst guy on the field. But he's got to play over you, damn it. Even though you had what? His fewest tackles in a game was like 9 Whit Weeks. It was ridiculous how effective Whit Weeks was. Tackles for loss, just the ground he would make up in a game. It was incredible to make the stops he did. And I'm proud of Whit Weeks for not absolutely losing his McConaughey mind on the sideline during these games, watching this type of shit go down. And even though you're a freshman, you can help this team because you did it already. You've done it before. And you're just not being given an opportunity to do that. That would be, man, that would hurt. That would, it did in my voice. That would be too much for me to take, I think. It would be like, oof. Um, I've been in those situations. I'm probably, you could argue, in one of those situations right now where I'm, on the bench media wise, rarely getting those opportunities. Everything we get, we earn ourselves. Um, it's it's rough. It's rough to really go out there and grind, but it's a lost art. But here's the thing: we are old school by nature, and so we kind of felt like this was how it was going to have to happen already before we started doing this anyway. Like 2018, we started writing all this stuff, started filming things in 2019, started kind of combining the whole thing, putting out the site, becoming LSUODYSSEY.com from just a blog spot in March of 2020, and here we are. Um, it's tough to grind for things, but you got to do it. And I feel like this defense has lost sight of that. Don't you? They look soft to me. And that's the worst thing I can say about an LSU defense. They looked soft. There are players on that team that I absolutely love. Players on that team that I am like, you guys are great people. Players on that team that I would trust my son with, like them to take care of my son. And I would know my son would be taken care of and be alive, be thriving because of a lot of those type of kids. Great character kids that are on that team, on that defense as well. But there comes a time where you just need to knock the shit out of somebody when you're playing defense on a football field in between the lines. You got to get crazy. You got to get angry. You got to get into the game. You got to be pissed off. You got to wonder, why is this being accepted? Why is this acceptable? Why is this okay? Why has this been tolerated at LSU for the last however many seasons it seems? I understand we've had seasons where our defense has been, better, like last year, which is what makes this whole thing so weird with Matt House. Last year, Matt House, as I said to open this show, the questions were all about Denbrock, from the national people, from the local people. It was always about Denbrock. Denbrock. I felt like there was a lot of lack of execution last year, and I felt like this would be the season where we found out a lot about Mike Denbrock and what he could offer LSU and how he would fit in at LSU. Last year, it felt like you can't really judge him fully off that. I saw a lot of dysfunction in the execution of the actual play calls, and I saw a lot of missing wide open deep ball routes that were awesome play calls. That it was like, Jaden, throw the touchdown. You missed him, like it. So it was kind of like, I felt like Denbrock would have success. I did not expect Matt House to have this type of season where you wonder what's going on. You wonder how it got to this point. And I understand the recruiting mess LSU was left in by Coach O, put the DB situation in a terrible place. But the corners, which is what the mess that Corey Raymond left us with, the corners weren't the problem last night, in my opinion. They actually were some of the better tacklers in the game. I'm watching Harold Perkins make a terrible whiff right there, one-on-one, against Isaiah Bond, I think it is. Or no, it's Kendrick Law right there. Another Louisiana recruiting target that we should have got in the Brian Kelly era. And it's just there's a lot of guys that LSU missed out on here at the end of the Coach O era and going into the Brian Kelly era. And I know it's early, and I think maybe there's a few coaches here you could argue deserve another season, because to have their recruiting class take fruition, to prove it on the recruiting trail, and then prove it development wise. But it's so hard to make any argument for anything like that when you see what I'm watching right here. I mean, it's Jalen Milroe tap dancing around our guys. There's too much flexing, too much chest beating, too much fighting in the line at the line of scrimmage. I mean, what on earth is Mason Smith doing on every snap? He is literally engaged with someone like he's Dennis Franz in one of those early NYPD Blue from the 90s episodes where he's like, like he's just grabs someone by the scruff of the neck, like, like that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. He's just fighting people. He is not penetrating the backfield. He's not doing nothing. And this defense, last year they showed a lot of balls. They showed a lot of steel, but who showed a lot of that character in those games? Who made a lot of those plays? Well, outside of Harold Perkins and Greg Penn III having a few moments, mostly it's the guys who weren't on the field in this game. Makai Wingo, who was gone, of course, Bijo Jalari, Micah Baskerville. List goes on of guys who went to the NFL. Jay Ward. Those are the guys who balled out, flew all over the place. Jaquelin Roy, and made plays for LSU, kept LSU in games, turned games around, led the comebacks with turnovers, led the comebacks with defensive touchdowns even. And we've fallen to this level where we've got a Pac-12 linebacker as the guy we must have on the field no matter what. When you got Whit McConaughey Weeks, who showed you on the road against tough opponents, fast offenses. Missouri were just ranked ahead of us, number 12, everybody. Missouri actually played Georgia pretty well, everybody. We beat that team, and it had a lot to do with because Omar Speights was out of that game, and Whit Weeks was playing. I knew we had a damn good chance in that game of squeaking by because of Whit Weeks playing in that game. Just like I had a good feeling about it when he was announced as the starter for Mississippi State. I was like, there's no way he's going to be worse than Omar Speights, even though he's a freshman. There's no way he'll be worse. And in fact, his speed might just settle everything down. I wish these guys had a lot more time to prepare and kind of gel together, but we'll see what happens. They actually had that time to prepare and gel together, and you could see that Perkins, Mr. Percules, who still played really well last night at times, but then was completely lost at others. Him and Penn were so much more settled when Whit Weeks, a true freshman, was on the field, the new number 40. And so I found it interesting that Brian Kelly said that Greg Penn III had to be on the field. Or sorry, not Greg Penn III. Omar Speights had to be on the field because he was a settling influence. Let's play this audio.
Don't have a lot of snaps. It's nice to be able to come back and have, two veteran linebackers in there communicating to the back end with two safeties that have played a lot of football. So we're really, looking at the veteran presence that he brings, and it's an added advantage for us in terms of having him on the field.
I'm not sure if everybody could hear that. Could everybody hear that? What just happened? Brian Kelly saying that. Let me look. So let's see. There we go. Okay, the quote was perfectly heard. So you heard the quote right there from Brian Kelly. I'm not saying Brian Kelly is the worst coach ever and get rid of Kelly and how dare he and blah 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 and he's hiring every wrong coach and everything Brian Kelly does is so bad. No, I do not subscribe to any of those type of beliefs. I actually believe that Brian Kelly will still be a success at LSU. I have believed the entire time that Brian Kelly will be a successful coach at LSU. I have always maintained and believed that there's something special that he's building there. And this may be just the beginning. We may get a championship earlier than we think, or whatever. You have to commend him for putting together a team that has created this type of offensive football. And then last year, the defense, what they were able to do wire to wire, that was pretty damn good too. You had Matt House right there for the Broyles Award. You had that defense leading the charge in games. But we lost a lot of homegrown, homebred guys that had been with the program for a while, won national championships, with the program in 2019, and they were still there to kind of massage over those cracks. And you saw those cracks. You saw that they were big time, almost cliffs, precipice in nature, defensively especially. And here we are. Brad Davis, you see how good he is with the offensive line. You see what he's building with the offensive line. How can we not get to that on the defensive line? Well, I'll tell you why. Because how many coaches in the last 5 years? Like 13, 12? There's been something like 12 or 13 defensive line coaches in the last 5 years for LSU. The list is staggering. It is ridiculous. It is crazy. And thank God, Jimmy Lindsey, defensive line coach, you've seen him offering one 2024 guy, one 2025 guy after another. All really strong offers from Coach Jimmy Lindsey. And so with that, he'll be back. With that, you're liking what's going on. You're thinking there's going to be a good future there, right? Hopefully he'll be the defensive line coach. He'll bring in some guys. He'll have the awesome recruiting touch that he's shown before at South Carolina. With what he could do at LSU, you'd expect even better. And hopefully we can get some stability there. But will Matt House even be there? The defense Matt House is wanting set up here is way too advanced for the college game. Way too advanced for the college player mind to dissect. There's so much. I mean, you saw in our interview with Ryan Yates, his father, where he was talking about how it was like a giant chalkboard from a beautiful mind of information for Ryan to decipher and to digest in a very short amount of time. That's crazy. How are you even teaching or developing these players if you're basically trying to get them to be football mathematicians with all this scawampus lingo and over the top, over complex schemes that literally out scheme you out of the game? It's just I'm wondering what's going on. I want to know who's responsible for some of these glaring errors, because here's the thing. I'm a big believer in this team. I'm a big believer in the Brian Kelly era, the BK takeover, so to speak. I'm a big believer in some of these defensive coaches. And so I feel kind of betrayed in a way for that type of performance to continue after we've seen this against Ole Miss, against Florida State. But, the patterns have been there. Tennessee last year, I understand there's special teams errors, but they ran that ball right down our throats, everybody. They didn't throw the ball all over us. They ran it right down our throats, Tennessee, in that game. And once again, getting destroyed on third down. 11 of 14 to Jalen Milroe. And it was literally just, he would use our pressures, our pass rushers against us. They would just be sack hungry, come flying in like cavemen and just, me want sack, and just come flying. And it would just easily allow him a lane, pick his poison with that type of speed, because you're not getting to him. And you saw the way the game started out, even clear into the third quarter when LSU scored to take the 28-21 lead. You thought, if we can just get that one turnover, if we can just get that one stop. And it's like, guys, we'd already gotten 2 stops from the defense. It's just you can't. It's so exhausting mentally and physically for these guys on this offense to try and dig that deep on every single play. Every single play is a gotta have it play from this offense because of that defense. And because of this special teams being non existent, missing field goals, not being even reliable in the field goal game, letting Alabama start at their own 29 plus, clear up to the 41 every drive. Um, you allowed Kendrick Law 77 return yards. 77 return yards. And that's not even the worst they've allowed this season. They've done it constantly. And it's bogus. Special teams hasn't been fixed. We have glaring issues about depth, roster management, and recruiting at corner, safety, defensive line, and it's what changes are required to fix LSU right now, everybody? What changes are required? What's it going to take to fix the Tigers? I want to hear from you and what you have to say. Interesting stat. LSU are 3-3 when Omar Speights starts the game. The losses: Florida State, Alabama, Ole Miss. LSU are 3-0 when Weeks has started. Sorry, 2-0 against when Weeks has started against Mizzou and against Mississippi State. So both of those games were also on the road too. Like, I don't know how you couldn't be proud of your freshman linebacker going in there and getting double-digit tackles on the road in his like debut, and then continuing to do this. Like, it's what a freak. Apologies, I just have to do that. This was a huge play call in the game, I felt. We're at the Alabama 42, driving into their territory, but just not quite there yet. And we go for it on 4th and 1. And we throw this easily to – it's just the play. I knew it was going there. The second you see Jaden Daniels roll to the right, you knew where it was going. You knew it was going Brian Thomas Jr. Boom. Easy to pick that thing off even, but it wasn't picked off. It was just batted down, but could have been worse. That was a huge play right there. Let Alabama take a 14-7 lead, take the momentum, and kind of say, hey, let's settle down here and let's go win this game. And they did. And I don't understand why or how LSU could never. I mean, 8 penalties, and well, some of them were on offense. Just terribly timed offensive penalties. Or what about when it was 28-35, we're down by 7, and Harold Perkins gets a TFL on 3rd down. Brilliant play to force a punt. Alabama are going to punt the ball, right? And then there's a flag for face mask, or sorry, for horse collaring on Jalen Milroe. And I'm just like, even when you are successful, you can't get out of your own way. And I feel bad for Harold Perkins because he's balled out this season. He deserves to win that Butkus Award. He's been the best linebacker in college football. But it's just the way he's being utilized, the way he's being developed. what he's being tasked with. I'm okay with him and being in coverage. I'm not saying that. I'm not just asking for him to be rushed off the edge every damn play. That's just not going to work. But you can have him rushing from the inside. You can have him blitzing up the A gap on a random play. Like you can get creative with this. And I just don't see any creativity with Harold Perkins. You could put him at any position in the secondary. So what does that mean? That means that can free you up to blitz anyone from the secondary. Andre Sam blitzing at the quarterback, I think, would be an effective play. Blitzing into that backfield would be an effective play. More of an effective play than having Andre Sam back there in coverage, I can tell you that. Poe English. What's up, my man? No adjustments. Bad tackling. No gap integrity. The defensive line got bullied all night, plain and simple. The defense just don't believe in Matt House. Time for something new, win or lose. I'm a Tiger for life. That's the thing. It's like if you criticize LSU, you're anti-LSU or something. If you say a coach was terrible, you are anti that coach and burning them down. I don't view it like that. I feel like any of these coaches could come at me for getting my facts wrong or for writing a not good enough article or something. I mean, I've put myself out there to that extent. They are being paid how much from state taxpayer funds? Their salaries are paid by the taxpayers, the people of Louisiana. So there's a different, separate layer of responsibility here that even goes deeper here, that it's like failure is not an option at LSU to this level. Failure is not an option to this degree. I'm not asking for a national championship every single season. That doesn't even happen at Alabama. You've seen them lose title games recently more than win them. But when I see a defense that doesn't compete, when I see a roster that is in desperate need of not just another transfer portal, humping and just go out there for every single body you can find, but divert all that attention, all those resources into recruiting your state, actually locking it the fuck down. Flipping any of these fools who are committed to A&M or Alabama, get them back here. What are you doing? Stop messing around. Come on, stop being foolish. You're a Tiger. Come on. But that's the thing, is if they're not feeling it already, a guy like Wardell Mack who wants to go to Florida is not feeling LSU. There's a reason, and that's because we want him to play safety instead of playing corner. When that kid's a corner, he wants to be a corner. He's destined to play corner. But you're telling him already, hey, what's up, man? You're going to play safety. Of course he's not going to come to LSU. So, if anyone ever asks you if Wardell Mack, what's the chance of him coming to LSU? Well, they have to change that to begin with. And we're very lucky, I feel, that a few of our guys got injured at corner. And let me tell you why. Javian Toviano playing at corner for a whole game against Alabama, starting wire to wire, playing pretty well. That's huge, keeping him with the program, because we were starting to, you're going to play safety, you're going to play nickel, you're going to play moving him everywhere. That's great, how versatile he is and experimenting, sure. This kid's a shutdown corner. Play him there. You didn't see very many explosive plays from Alabama's receivers whatsoever. Let's look at the numbers. All the explosive plays from what I saw last night, all in the rushing game. 6 rushing touchdowns, 288 rushing yards. LSU have been bad against the run, bad against the pass. It hasn't just been one or the other. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I wanted to see how many explosive plays our guys allowed yesterday. Let's see. Okay. Davian Toviano had 1 target his way for 10 yards, 4 yards after catch. He had 5 tackles. He played 33 coverage snaps. That's damn good. That's damn good for your first game. Sage Ryan tested the most of anyone. 7 targets, allowed 5 catches, some slow reactions on some out routes that he got a lot of crap for online. And I don't think Sage Ryan was the worst defensive player out there. I don't even think anywhere close to that. And I think he's getting some unfair shit because there's a lot of plays that he was actually alive to that everyone around him wasn't. Like if you watch it closely, he's like the only one sniffing out some of these plays and making the tackle or making the attempts to tackle while everyone else is just completely lost. So like your eyes are seeing him and being like, boom, he's at fault for everything. I get it. He got burned on some routes. And he allowed the most of anybody. Seven targets, 5 catches allowed, 69 total yards, 0 touchdowns allowed, 1 pass breakup, 0 interceptions, 1 forced incompletion. Let's see here. Harold Perkins, 3 targets, 2 catches, 51 yards total, 51 yards total receiving, 46 yards after catch. Omar Spates, 2 catches allowed for 29 yards, both on 3rd down critically. So, Sage Ryan allowed a long of 21. Harold Perkins allowed a long of 35. Omar Spates a long of 22. So you've only got 3 passing plays over 20 yards all game that were allowed. Just 3. And Toviano, as I said before, was freaking locked down. Ashton Stamps, only 9 snaps, completely locked down though. Sage Ryan, yes, you knew he was going to have some moments of where he struggled, but he wasn't as bad as some of the online people are going to say. Didn't have as many missed tackles as people are claiming either. He did have 1 missed tackle, but there's people on here who've got 4, who've got 3, who've got 2, you know. Deshaun Womack played only 1 defensive snap yesterday. And he had a pressure, a quarterback hurry. Officially, Deshaun Womack has been more effective in 6 snaps than Mason Smith has been all season. Jeff Stapleton is how you feel, corn dog. Bama, whip your ass. Corn dog. Oh my god, dude. Corn dog? Like, what are you, Biff Tannen from Back to the Future 2 or something, bro? Like, hey, corn dog. That's hilarious. Dude, what can I say? Our defense is terrible. And when you have great players who are effective, whether they're freshmen, whether they're seniors, whether they're, you know, guys from the 2016 class who are somehow still involved with the team, somehow still eligible, if they're great, if they're the right player, they make the team better, you put them on the field. And you saw that clearly from Deshaun Womack and specifically Whit Weeks. And I don't understand why Chris Stapleton is having his brother tweet my show. You know, Chris Stapleton, if you're listening, Chris, I know what happened at the barbecue. I know what you did to that salad. It was not okay. It was not fair. It was not right. But you know, that's fine. That's fine. Have your brother come and tweet me. Call me a corn dog. That's fine. I enjoy corn dogs. I enjoy sausages like, you know, bratwurst, some stuff like that. Like, but you know, it corn dog. I'm not really a gas station food guy. I'll go in there for some gummy bears and stuff, but I don't subsist off that shit. I can't. My body starts shutting down. I need real food. Poe English says we need coaches and players that are hungry and not just being at LSU. We need dogs on the defense. Players and coaches, let's get back to that gritty, nasty defense if BK wants a title. Yep. Even as I watch right now, I see Malik Neighbors going for 171 yards, 10 catches, a brilliant 46-yard touchdown over the top. Like, this dude ate Alabama alive last night and gets nothing for it. Gets no reward for it. His back was messed up. He was playing through pain, taking big hits. Jaden Daniels with that Dallas Turner hit. I mean, are you kidding me? That play, man, that just pile drives Daniels to the ground while fucking up his chin. Like, are you kidding me? How that is not called, how that does not become a penalty for targeting and an ejection, I'm stunned. I'm frankly stunned that that play happened. And then seeing Dallas Turner like a punk bitch celebrate over Jaden Daniels, and then go on the sideline and be like, "Yeah, man," and swapping handshakes with people, and yeah, stand on business. Yeah, like, dude, shut up. You embarrassed yourself. I understand. I understand. He's playing football hard, and whatever. Deserve to hit our quarterback, I guess. But like, it just really bothers me that LSU could not do shit about anything last night at some point in time. It crossed that threshold where LSU had no control over anything. You got Jane Daniels running right into a double sack where he just gets bashed. It just all started just folding in on us. This reminded me of like a 2015 game, 2016, 2017. Just the way that just the outcome, the disappointment, the tease, the carrot dangling. But we had an offense that was capable of not only winning a championship, but being just unstoppable against anybody. We went from that to our defense being so poor, our special teams being so anonymous, so non-existent, and so just gut rottingly, shit stainingly terrible, that our offense, we're literally just having terrible false starts, feeling that desperation to make a play every damn play. You got to make that block every damn play. You've got to make that huge key protection every single play. You got to watch your quarterbacks as six every single play. Make sure Jane Daniels doesn't get hurt every single play. How many countless drives? How many times do they have to lead the comeback? How many points do they have to score? How many touchdowns do they have to get? How many awards do they have to even get in the conversation of, but have no chance of winning because we have a defense that is hell bent on losing games, designed to lose games? I think, obviously, we know that Jaden Daniels will be disqualified from the Heisman at this point. We understand that. We understand that that's how society is. We understand that that's how stupid the NCAA is. They don't pick the best player every season to win the Heisman, which is what it should be. It's kind of more of a pageantry, a popularity contest. But you cannot tell me that Malik Neighbors is not going to win the Blitnikoff. Jim Stapleton says, "Try some more, punk. Try some more, punk." Jeff Stapleton, Chris Stapleton's lethargic, unemployed brother, says, "What's wrong, corn dog? Can't take an ass whipping unlike that lucky ass win LSU had last year. Now you're not too damn happy now." I wish he understood that my happiness is not defined by whether my team wins games or not. Like, I'll feel shitty about it. I'll be annoyed about it. I'll be pissed off about it. I don't, I'll want to find out why it happened. I'll bathe in the tears of the destruction. But am I going to let a sport like make me like depressed? Am I going to let a sport like really fuck with my emotional well-being? No, that can't happen. That won't happen. I refuse to let it happen. So will I let Chris Stapleton's unemployed brother hurt me? No. I just wonder why Chris is doing this. I just wonder why, Chris. You're a country star. You have so much money. You don't have to have your brother This guy. That's right, bitch. Take that L. Yeah. I don't think you have such a good connection at the outhouse you live in, buddy. Um, it hurts me so much. You know, I might even question life itself now that LSU have lost this game, bro. Oh God. I hate when these type of people infiltrate the things, not because I can't take what they're saying. Oh, it's more of just like they get me off of like actually talking about what was at hand here. So I'm just not going to air those type of comments anymore unless they're exceedingly hilarious, which I thought I was what I was doing. Once again, another slip play where just someone is just wide open. LSU have no one there, and he goes for 30, 40 yards. Damn. It is my it is Sunday, I'll just say that. And I would love to thank ReleafMed.com. ReleafMed, our people at ReleafMed, our friends, number one dispensary, number one pain relieving headquarters in Louisiana. ReleafMed.com. You got to go check them out. Fill out everything. Get what you're looking for today. You know, get that relief today. They've got a wide variety. Pretty much anything you'd want. ReleafMed.com, the gateway, the gatekeeper to getting your relief. They sponsor us. We're very excited about that. We hope that continues. We hope we can continue to provide the best type of shows for that to continue. And we're very excited that we believe in what they do. So it's a perfect marriage. It's a perfect marriage. And hopefully we can just keep elevating, keep getting better at what we do, and keep having people like Chris Stapleton's brother join the show. You know, that's like I love that this guy keeps like shit talking me in the comments. It's actually kind of funny. He does remind me of Biff from Back to the Future though. But LSU's defensive grades against against Alabama. You want to see him? Okay. Highest tackling grades will surprise you. Greg Penn III, 81.9. Ovia Gofu, 78.9. Braden Swinson, 76.6. Jordan Allen, only 7 snaps, 74.8 though. Jacobian Guillory, 74.8, over 26 snaps. Major Burns played 63. He had 73.0. Parashan, 71.1. Jordan Jefferson, 70.2. Mason Smith, 69.7. And Harold Perkins with the worst tackling grade on the team at 41.3. When do you see that? You know, I don't know how LSU can get out of this defensively. This is what worries me about the future. I think you got to get Savion Jones to slim down. 280 or whatever the hell it was. 285 was way too big for him to be at. Ridiculous. I think you got to really clean house at safety. You got Major Burns, he's going, so that's one person who's going to be gone. Andre Sam will be out of eligibility, so you kind of have that chance. Zion Alexander is going to be gone. So, okay, wipe that slate clean. DB, you've got some young DBs to work with who might be able to bridge this thing together. Maybe you get 1-2 key guys out of the portal. But I feel like we've got to see something there from Denver Harris. We have to. That's something else I don't really understand. It's something I'll finish off with. If Denver Harris is such a troublemaker, such a bad kid, right, that he can't play in these games, then why the hell is he on the roster still? Just in case he changes, but oh, he's changed, and then he was allowed to play, and then you guys put him back out into pasture again. So that would tell me that he crossed the line again and broke the rules again, which would tell me, wouldn't that mean you're gone? Wouldn't they say that? And why, if this kid Deuce Chestnut is opting out of the season to literally, I'm not joking around. He said he reportedly said this to preserve his NFL draft stock, Deuce Chestnut. Then why keep him on roster? Both players, I'm wondering why. Why would you not keep them on a roster? That's the secret. Like you don't want them. They can't be here. Their discipline is so out of order. They're so out of control. Why are they on the team then? And if they're on the team and if they're fine and you just have some weird political bullshit reason for not playing them, then maybe this isn't the right job for you. Because this is LSU football. We deserve to win. We belong in the winning echelon of the sport. The sport is better when LSU are at the top of their game. And let me tell you, it scares the hell out of everyone in college football when LSU are amazing, when LSU are dominant. This was the best news college football could have had. The college football brass especially could have had. The Alabama has their comeback moment. The brand is back. And this scary LSU offense you didn't want to give the Heisman to. You didn't want to give the Heisman to Jaden Daniels. You didn't want to admit that this team with 2 losses deserved to be in the college football playoff. You didn't want that type of controversy on your plate, even though there was no controversy there. If we won out, we definitely belonged. Definitely probably would have won the whole thing if we'd gotten to the playoff undefeated like that, beating Georgia, beating Alabama like we would have, beating A&M, getting revenge, beating Florida. Now, New Year's 6 is the best. New Year's 6. That's the goal. We'll read your comments and then be out of here. DJ, damn, I didn't know you was on live. Dude, it's all good. The rewind button is there. This was actually a very good show. I actually felt like I was kind of in the zone, saying a lot of stuff that I didn't feel like I said a lot of stuff that wasn't. There's times I say shit and I'm like, I should have communicated that better, or it didn't come out quite right. I'm a better writer than I'm a talker for sure. This show, I felt like there was a lot of shit that was on point. I felt like I felt confident about this show. Felt good. DJ's my man, DJ, long time supporter, viewer, my man. Hit the notifications bell if you didn't know we're on live, man. Get the notifications, but also go on to LSUODYSSEY.com, subscribe there, very cheap. You'll get the notifications that way. I believe you can actually just sign up to get the notifications for free as well. So you can do that as well. If you want to just do it for free, put your email, your Gmail in the newsletter. You'll get that. You'll get the notifications every time we're going live. And especially because DJ, you're a badass. You've been watching, you've been commenting on our stuff for years. You're someone we absolutely have. You've seen us grow from this small little operation into something that's kind of taken shape here. And so you're someone we want every damn show to be plugged in, hopefully, because your comments are always hilarious. Your comments are always on point. You know the game. Oh, people calling me. No one is scared of LSU. Yeah, yeah. I think you were. I think you were scared of LSU, buddy, when it was 2019. 2019, you were pretty scared of LSU. 2021, you were pretty scared of LSU too when you only got 6 rushing yards in that game and had any other quarterback been in the game, someone who doesn't hold on to the ball so murderously long. You wonder if they have some type of predilection for self harm. If someone who actually threw the football had been playing in that game, Jack Besh would have had the game winning touchdown a couple times in that fourth quarter. Uh, so it's interesting. Football is an interesting game because I think you now saw how much, a lot of people, the narrative was the offense is untouchable. It's not going to matter. We're going to beat Alabama. And I was kind of that narrative too. I felt like, yeah, they can't stop us. All we do need is a few stops. Of course, we'll get a few stops. So come on, that's the bare minimum. And we couldn't fucking do it. We couldn't do it. We could not do it. It's it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. But LSU, for the second straight year, had a crazy opportunity to not only, I mean, we still won the SEC championship game last year. That just kind of illustrates what I'm talking about. But for the second straight year, LSU had major, major goals, major rewards at the end of that rainbow. Had we beaten Alabama, had we beaten Florida, which is very doable, had we beaten Georgia State, had we gotten revenge against A&M, all of those things were very doable with a defense that just gives a fuck. If your defense gives a fuck, you win. If your defense gives a fuck, you have one loss. You might be undefeated because they were also responsible for for Florida State. So if your defense gives a damn, at a minimum, LSU get a few more stops in this game. They maybe get an interception in this game. A guy doesn't quit and punches the ball out in that game. A guy gets a sack in this game. A guy just like won't quit and drives and drives and drives instead of fighting, having some Dennis Franz NYPD Blue showdown with some guy grabbing him by his throat for the entire 70 snaps you're out there. It's a joke. Seeing Mason Smith doing that when I'm used to seeing that guy lined up all over the defensive line and attacking from all over the place, using his versatility against the defensive line. So no one was used to blocking him or knowing how to get their hands on him. You could barely get your hands on him because he was chopping away and he was at the quarterback. Now he wants to engage and fight and battle and scrap, and it sucks because that's a 5-star. That's a guy that LSU, we won on the recruiting trail. Everyone who's talking about LSU haven't won on the recruiting. Well, the guys that we have won on the recruiting trail, are we fulfilling what their potential? Sage Ryan is a 5-star, a former 5-star prospect. Are we going to waste another one with Womack? Are we going to waste another one with Sage Ryan? Javian Tobiano's another 5-star. Are we going to waste him? Deshaun McBride coming in on the 2023 class. He's a 5-star. Of course, a lot of these guys had their 5-star status taken away the second they signed with LSU because we know of the politics with recruiting, and the recruiting sites and all that type of bullshit. But the point is, LSU got to get the shit together across the board. Or, I don't know. DJ says, what's the reason why Sage Ryan never played safety? I don't know. I don't think that has helped with his development. I think that's why it's a little unfair, the criticism. I understand the criticism. He's made bad plays, but he's also never gotten credit when he has been good from the same people who rip on him. So it's kind of like, I don't really trust your bias against him. When I'm watching him, I'm honest with myself. I love Sage as a person. I love him as a player too. I don't think they're getting the best out of him, but he's also making bad plays too. He's not playing the best that he can. But I think that a lot of that goes down to he's not playing deep line safety. He's playing corner. He's playing nickel. He's playing stuff he can do. It's like having a right wing back, or sorry, having a center back play a right back position in soccer. And like, can you do a job for me? It's like, can you run your guts out and just kind of fulfill the position just for today? Like, do a job. Like, okay, it's not meant to switch and do that for a whole season. It's just they've outsmarted themselves. I think they're a beautiful mind, and it's turned into a bullshit defense. And it's soft, it's pathetic, and I'll say that in front of any of them, because here's the thing. I know how hard they're playing. I know how hard they're working and like wanting to get better and wanting to push it, and I know that it matters to them. But when you look at it, some of them, it doesn't seem like it matters as much as it should. Some of them, it seems like maybe this just doesn't matter as much to you as it does to somebody else, to some of these other guys. And I'm not really outwardly accusing anyone of that, but it's just something I've noticed. Anyway, go to LSUODYSSEY.com. Check out our article from the game yesterday. That is where the ass kicking and the tolling of the bells begins, and we go from there. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Have an awesome rest of your Sunday. Have a great rest of your weekend, and yeah. Thank you to ReleafMed, our great people there. Sponsor us, Louisiana's #1 pain relief headquarters, the #1 dispensary in Louisiana, legal Louisiana, lovely legal Louisiana. And we will be seeing you this week at the Florida game. LSUODYSSEY.com will be there for the Florida game. We will have coverage live from Baton Rouge starting Thursday evening with a live special. Thursday night live special. We'll be having some guests. We're going to have some special surprises for you lined up for that weekend as LSU look to get right against Florida. I wish it was LSU looking to continue that college football playoff run, but we have a shitty defense.